Hey, what's up guys? It's JoePCool14 here, and welcome back to another episode of Joe Plays Minecraft. How have you guys been doing? I've been doing all right. I've been doing quite a few things. Very busy at home, very busy kind of at work, but kind of back here with some more Minecraft. And it's Minecraft Live Day, so I might be talking a little bit about that during this episode. But otherwise, it's just going to be the continuation of the world that we got started in the previous episode. I know that wasn't exactly yesterday, but we're going to be continuing on this series and getting some things done. We got a lot of things to do. We are very much still early in this, so we're going to get right into things with, I would say, a bit of mining, or at least a little bit of minor exploration, because we still don't even have any iron, which is not really a very good thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just get some torches going here, because we will need them. And actually, I don't even have a whole lot of wood, but I think 48 planks will be sufficient for the moment. These villagers keep trying to come over here and get inside my house, so that's why I had to put this little fence here. But we're gonna just kind of explore around, and of course if we get lost, hey, we're back at 0-0, so it's really easy to remember. So yeah, today was Minecraft Live Day, and some of you may have watched it, or watched part of it, or watched none of it at all. And as for me, I kind of just turned it on a little bit, about, I think it was like maybe a little after, halfway through. It was like probably 12:40 or something. Mainly I just, as I'm sure most of you tune in to see, is, you know, what's the new features going to be? What's the result of the mob vote? That's probably the most, I guess, pressing matter for most people. And I guess the mob vote's a pretty good place to start. That chat was just totally flooded with hashtag stop the mob vote stuff, and honestly, I can't really blame people. I am definitely in the camp of being sick and tired of the mob vote. I think the concept was really good back in 2017. Unfortunately, we got the Phantom, which we all know how that turned out. But I think the concept was good, and since it was its first year, it was kind of like, alright, you know, this is kind of cool. It's a little bit interesting. We get to kind of help direct the game a little bit. Obviously, I would argue we picked the wrong mob, but hey, mistakes happen. The important thing is you learn from it. Well, community didn't really learn from it, but hey, community is not just one person. It is a hive mind. And hive mind is kind of the name of the game when you get to these mob votes. There's just a lot of territorialism and arguing. I think the fox was one of those mobs, by the way, so that's kind of good timing. And I really, really want to find the lush cave that's underneath. I've seen now a total of, I believe, 3 of those azalea trees in this world. First one we chopped down in the first episode, and then 2 in this episode. So I'm definitely on the lookout for that. We have had, I don't exactly know how many mob votes. I know, of course, we also had a biome vote somewhere in there. But man, the mob vote thing is just so run over and run out. It's just so done. I've seen a couple suggestions to make it better. I think the one that sticks out in my head is the whole, you know, if you have the obviously, say you have 3 mobs, right? The 2 that don't win, you know, put them back in the rotation in a mob vote, you know, so it's not totally like, well, I guess you're never getting a copper golem anymore, or, oh, I guess you're never getting a crab anymore, which, spoiler alert, the armadillo won this year's mob vote, which I'm disappointed in. I think the crab would have been more interesting, but oh well. This is actually really nice over here, by the way. I know in the first episode I was commenting about living in a snow biome. I might actually have to set something up over here. I mean, I can even see ice spikes over there, which is really cool. Maybe we can find a spawner. That'd be epic. So yeah, the mob vote thing, definitely tired, and I hope that this is the last year. I hope that they finally realize, alright, this is not an effective marketing tool anymore, which I can't say. Surely at this point it can't really be worth it, right? I mean, come on. But what is worth it is this very cool cave, and I can already see deep slate and redstone, so this is a good thing, except I hope it doesn't go so deep to the fact where I can't even get iron. Ooh, we got an alternate entrance. I mentioned something about a spawner, actually, and that actually ties in with the new update features that they announced during the show, which there wasn't a whole lot, but I think this stuff was interesting. It wasn't boring. So Agnes got on there and kind of said they want to switch it up a little bit. They said they've been doing a lot of creativity and building updates, which is probably fair. I think we've gotten a lot of new blocks to build with, but a lot of the other mechanics in the game have been stagnant. So she said, oh, we're going to do a combat thing. And I was like, oh, combat update. Okay, all right, combat. Sure. So the question is that going to include the whole combat snapshots thing that was going on a while ago? Or is that just dead in the water? I'm not sure. But she didn't talk about that. She talked about a new kind of, I guess, generated structure, dungeon, if you want to call it, called the Trial Chamber, which, by the way, in my opinion, is a really stupid name. I think it's really just too on the nose. But then again, we did have Monster Spawner Room, but we called those dungeons, so I don't know. The name is kind of stupid in my opinion. But ignoring the name, the concept of it is basically a more challenging dungeon, at least in theory. Which, you know what? Hey, I think that would be an interesting little idea. I think adding some new kind of dungeon, new spawner, which is basically what those were. And what intrigued me is, in the video, one of them comments, oh, the spawner has ice around it. That must mean we're going to see some strays, because strays are the whole, you know, winter skeleton and all that, which gets me thinking, so does that mean can you change the blocks to get different mobs? Because one of the things you could do in creative mode right now, of course, is take a spawner egg and change a spawner, but you can't do that in survival, because unless you're on a server or something, you're not getting access to spawner eggs, so you can't change spawners. But imagine if you could do that in survival mode in these very specific locations. That would be, I think, a very cool thing to add in. So I think that the trials thing is interesting. I don't really feel it's the most useful thing ever, because I think a lot of the complaints right now with the game is that old mechanics are just stale, and we aren't getting a lot of new mechanics. And this isn't really a new mechanic, it's just a new structure, which is cool, but like I said, it's not a new structure. Or, sorry, it's not a new mechanic. It is a new structure. It's not a new mechanic. So, I think it's fine, but it's not really what we wanted. Aside from that, we got some new blocks, particularly some new copper blocks. We saw copper grates and copper bulbs, which is effectively a copper light source, which I think those are really good because, as we all know, copper needs more uses. Sadly, these are still just cosmetic, but I think grates are very cool. It kind of is like the iron bar, but for a floor or ceiling, which I think is nifty. I think that gives us another option instead of having to just use glass or slabs or trapdoors. So I'm cool with that. And then copper bulbs, just another light source. They look nice. Not really much more to say about them, except for the fact they do have this mechanic where, you know how copper weathers and all that and turns blue? The lights do that, and I guess as they weather, they get dim. So, okay, you know what? That's a new mechanic. I'm not really sure what purpose it would have, though, in terms of, like, builds. It's probably more of a thing for the trial chambers, and I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. It's, like I said, this stuff is just fine. It's not really what we wanted. This cave is also not really good, in my opinion. I can't get down here. I probably... It's like, it's too steep. I don't even know how to deal with this anymore. So then the last thing I think that I can remember from the video, or from the preview, I should say. The last thing I can remember from the preview... Oh, I'm going to kill myself on this gravel if I don't be careful. I think it's supported. Okay. The last thing I can remember was, and this is the biggest thing, the auto crafter. Yes, it is finally happening. We are getting automated crafting in Minecraft coming up on approaching the 15-year celebration of Minecraft, which is quite a thing. I mean, I feel like we've all had this idea for auto crafters since redstone, you know, became a thing and expanded and all that. So that says quite a lot when you really think about it, the fact that we're finally getting something like that. And it will be interesting to see, is this going to be some sort of overpowered thing, or is it actually going to be not so overpowered. Maybe this is just going to be a fun thing. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm happy about it just for the fact that it exists. It will be interesting to see, though, what it takes to make and how it actually works. I mean, they showed off, it was really cool. They showed off how, this is also a problem. I am running out of blocks. This has got to be one of the most annoying caves. One of my chief complaints with caves and cliffs is the caves are too big sometimes. And this is one of those situations. Maybe I'll dig down instead of trying to build a support beam. But yeah, autocrafters. That's going to be a thing now. And I think that's kind of nifty. Let's just see how they implement it. I hope people don't complain. We'll have to see what people say online. But yeah, I think the slew of feature they presented, it's not bad. It's just, is this what we wanted? Or is this just kind of more of the same, more or less, you know? And then, of course, the armadillo, which I just watched. I watched Ant Venom's video about the 3 different mobs and what they do. I remember what the crab did. I think the armadillo had something to do with wolf armor, so alright, I mean, fine. Wolf armor's be cool, but it's kind of boring. It's just my opinion. I would have voted for the crab. I didn't bother voting because, to be honest with you, I'm pretty much over the mob votes as well. And I don't really care. I just want good updates. I just want good updates with good content. And I don't want any of this. I don't want any of this other garbage. So, and I don't want to get too attached, I guess, to any of the mobs, which, well, I still ended up kind of picking one, but that was inevitable. So, that was Minecraft Live 2023. Glad I didn't exactly dedicate my time. I didn't watch the whole thing. And yeah, it's got a lot of 2023 moments in it. So, I guess, moving on from all that, let's just focus on some of that good old mining that we got going on here. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time here. I just really wanted to grab some iron because like I said, I had none. So, at this rate, we might be able to find some more interesting stuff than just iron. But I don't want to make this episode a whole mining episode just because it's one of those things I don't like to do anymore, because you guys probably don't like to see a whole episode of mining as much as I don't necessarily want to watch a whole episode of mining either. Even though mining is a lot better than it used to be, it's still mining. So I will probably just go ahead and start looking for some things. I'll keep the footage going in case I do come across anything interesting. But otherwise, I'll probably catch you on the other side, and we'll maybe get to doing a little bit of building or something else on the surface. So yeah, I'm back at the surface. That was not an awful trip. Oh, actually, look at this. I'm finding actually almost some better caves now. Yeah, I'm not going to explore too much further. I just wanted to see if there was kind of some surface coal, which there is. Oh, why couldn't I find this cave? Oh man, I really want to explore this cave. I'll just take this coal here, and then I'll keep moving. But yeah, I didn't find anything too special, but I found what I needed given the stage. You know, the typical coal, iron, a little bit of gold, and of course, plenty of copper, which primarily I'm just getting it to have for XP. So this whole area here, I'm just heading back, of course, to base. Yeah, this whole area, well, at least up until here, is all snow, and now this is a rainy area. So when I get back to our base, I am fully expecting to see rain. I don't remember if I kind of corrected that in the last video or not, because I know I said, oh wow, this is great, it's going to be snowing outside our base. Well, I don't think that's true, so... And we made it back, and this is actually really interesting. Okay, I guess I stand slightly corrected here. We actually are right on the border of the snow. Oh gosh, this is going to get really goofy. So half of our base is going to get covered, but half of it isn't. Oh, that's so cool. Man, I'll tell you what, actually, given that winter's coming up, I'm kind of stoked to have a base that's next to this snow. I mean, it's too bad this wasn't all snow, but I kind of like this. I'm probably going to end up moving it slightly just so it's all in the snow, but this is actually really cool. I think what's going on here is the river biome. Oh yeah, frozen river compared to just a plain taiga. Okay, that explains it now. Why? That explains what's going on. But this is actually interesting, I guess, to say the least. Oh, got a bit of thunder snow going on here. Ooh. So naturally, I think one of the things that we need to do in this episode with the amount of time we've got left is to get some farming going. I know that's not the most unique thing, but it's something that needs to be done. So we're going to work on that pronto. I managed to get almost a stack of iron, which is really good. I'm going to smelt up, I think I'm going to smelt up all of it because I don't really have a use for this raw iron at the moment. So we're going to work on that. As soon as I can get another piece of iron, I'm going to get a bucket, and then we can really get started here. I'm actually going to grab stone hoe, which will be useful as well. Perfect. And I think, yeah, we've got some wheat seeds, we've got potatoes, pumpkins, sweet berries. Yeah, we got some stuff to work with here. I'd like to use some dirt. I need to kind of fill in this area a little bit, do some of that good old cut and fill. I'm probably going to have to fence in my farms, though, because of these villagers. I might have to just fence in my whole base, and I may do that just as a very temporary way to keep them out, because I really just don't want them walking around my area. As you can probably imagine, it's a little bit annoying. Oh, I also found some lapis lazuli, if that's worth anything. That's kind of nice. Oh, get out of here! Again with the villagers. See, this is why I have to block these guys off. They're just going to keep coming in here, and it's not going to be very... It's going to get very annoying very fast. Well, it's already gotten annoying, but it's only going to get worse. Okay, went ahead and did some good old terraforming around here. Filled up this area, dug this area back, cut it back. And now we got ourselves a nice little spot to get started with our temp farms at the very least. Of course, I got to get some water up here. Still need to check out this, need to dig down here. I actually thought I got rid of this one in the last episode, but evidently not. I guess I decided to leave it probably so I could remember where it was. I totally forgot I need to get an infinite water source going up here. Even though it's not far away. Hey, I want to save myself from having to walk down this river. Actually, we can tie this in. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I usually do 3 out, so we'll just put it kind of over here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We found some bonus copper. Why not? So we'll try and get at least sugarcane and wheat going. If I get potatoes going, sure. Oh, I'll probably do sweet berries as well, since that's, you know, pretty easy to do. There we go. So this can be, whoops. There we go. Got our source, and now we'll get the wheat farm going. Yeah, I won't worry about pumpkins, I think, right now. Potatoes also not as high of a priority, but I gotta have something. These sweet berries obviously just don't cut it. Sweet berries are really best as a decoration, and not much more. They're pretty bad for a food source. A little more than half. Good. Alright, and then next we can start getting our sugarcane down as well, which is as easy as ever. Everybody thought you needed sand to grow sugarcane. Well, I think it was originally that way in the game. It was before my time, but then at some point they changed it. I think you could just put it on dirt. I kind of wish they left it so you needed to grow it on sand. I feel like it looks nicer and means that the farm requires a little bit more effort than just water. But that's just my opinion. And then while we're at it, we can also quickly throw down a few sweet berries. For good measure, we'll just do a couple lines of 5. So we got 3 farms cooking already. That's great. I suppose we might as well go ahead and start getting a potato farm set up. Oh, you know what I need to do though? Before I go any further, before I forget, I must get a fence going, because those guys are gonna definitely cause problems for me if I don't. At least around the other thing. If I do anything more, I don't know if I'll do that right now, but I can't leave the wheat farm exposed. They will take all of my wheat and try and sell it back to me, which is just stupid. So let's try and stop that before it happens. Get a couple of these. Perfect. Better go ahead and take some slumber as well. Yeah, this I gotta deal with too. I hate this stupid double gate thing we got going on here. Nothing says annoying like having to open 2 doors. Alright, we'll just do this pretty straightforward. I'm just going to build it right around the edge. Doesn't need to be fancy. Just needs to be good enough to stop these guys from getting in here. And any other mobs for that matter, so it's a double purpose. I'll put an entrance over here, and I'll put an entrance over here. Lovely stuff. Yeah, I think for now what I'll do with my house, just to make things maybe a little bit less annoying, is I might extend this fence. Because after all, I'm really just trying to stop them from getting, you know, in, right? So if I can jump over it, that would actually save me a little bit of effort from having to open a gate twice. So maybe if I just do this instead. Yeah, that might work actually. Even, I wonder if I could even do the whole carpet trick. Because after all, I don't think they would jump on the carpet. But this is still an improvement in my opinion. Because then at least I only have to open it one way, not every time I leave. So that's cool. Might as well go ahead and get a potato farm going as well, just since I have the material going on. And potato can be an okay food source in my opinion. You know, you just have to be willing to cook it and all, but then it works out pretty nicely, I think. I'm still trying to figure out the approach that I want to take for this series. I'm kind of stuck a little bit, I guess, to just be a little bit honest here just while we're talking. So I'm doing this as a hobby, right? This is just totally for fun, and I think I want to make that very clear that everything I say about this, you have to have the context that this is all just a hobby. I'm not trying to make this as a living or even any sort of part-time revenue source. This is literally just for fun. I'm not making any money off this right now. And unless things suddenly massively turn up or massively blow up, I'm not intending to. So this is just for fun. I'm trying to decide what feels like a good way to handle this. Should I be editing the episodes more? Or should I kind of break from what's, I guess, not tradition, what's the current culture on YouTube, which is the very edited stuff. Should I break from that and do a bit more old school, just focus on talking and just building stuff and just being a lot more casual in that sense? And, you know, whoever wants to watch and hear what I have to say, you know, great, welcome to the show, great to have you on, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure. I've been trying to do, I think, a better job of editing as of late. I mean, I still want the videos to be enjoyable. I don't want to do nothing in a video. I don't want to have a mining episode. One of those things that I really don't want to do is have an episode that's 100% mining. This episode should be hopefully no more than, you know, about 50% mining, which is kind of the maximum I want to go for. Is that, you know, the way to go? Am I going to get, is that what I want to do, I guess, at the end of the day? Because if I don't care about views, I mean, if people watch, that's fantastic, and I'm grateful for it, absolutely. I don't mean to say I don't care, because that would be really, I'd be lying, and I'd just be rude to you guys, so I do care if you guys watch, and I care if you have feedback. But I don't need to be super popular or anything. I'm not one of those, I'm not a young kid thinking, oh, I'm gonna make YouTube, or, you know, I'm gonna make video creation my career. This is what I'm gonna do for my whole life. Like, no, I'm not saying that at all. I have another job, and that's where I want to stay and all that. This is supposed to be for fun. Not that I really ever was thinking, oh, I'm gonna blow up on YouTube and be a YouTube video creator forever or something like that. That's just absurd, right? Oh shoot, I just realized I built this too close to the sugarcane. Darn, I'm gonna have to make a little bit of modifications here. I'm gonna put the fence there, of course. But yeah, I want this to be enjoyable. And I want to be able to actually produce content, because I think the problem with the highly edited videos is they just take so long, and I don't enjoy sitting there and cutting out every little breath and every little mistake and every little this and every, you know, I don't want to sit there and do that. That's not fun. It doesn't really improve the video a huge amount, and it's not something I want to do anymore, I don't think. It's fine to highly edit certain kinds of videos, but to spend so long editing something basic like a Let's Play video, it just doesn't feel worth it to me. Especially if I want to put out more content. Now, of course, you could say, well, you know, quality is better than quantity, but it is. I mean, I agree. I don't want to just sit here, record a half an hour, and straight up throw it on YouTube. Nobody wants to see that. That's not enjoyable. I wouldn't be satisfied making that. I'm not going to do that. On the other hand, if I'm only putting out a video a week, and maybe I shouldn't say it as putting out because that implies I'm doing this for something as opposed to just doing this for fun. But if I'm making a video a week, am I really enjoying it, or is this just kind of an obligation? And that's kind of why I think I'm going to be changing the style a little bit, which is kind of unfortunate. This is the second episode. I wish I would have changed it for the first episode. But I kind of wish I hadn't even started the first episode when I did anyway, but that's another subject for whatever. I guess all I'm saying is I'm probably going to lean more into just editing less of these videos, maybe making them a bit longer. Maybe, you know, in my head I was thinking I don't want episodes to go above 20 minutes, but now I'm thinking, well, maybe if it's a, you know, 2, 3, 4 minutes at most over 20 minutes, that's okay on occasion, if it just makes sense. If it's too hard to cut out a ton of content just to save those extra couple minutes, you know, do I really want to bother doing that? I'm actually, you know, I think I'm just going to move these. These are just going to get in the way. I don't even know where I want to put these things. I hate farming sweet berries. They're so obnoxious because of the whole, you know... Maybe I'll just put a few of them here or something. But yeah, I'm going to be, I think, modifying my approach a little bit to go back to old school and just trying to really reinforce the whole this is just for fun thing. I'd rather play the game, enjoy playing the game, learn more about the game, and make good videos for that, you know, making good content, not just making it snappy, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I won't try and cut things down or cut out sections, but I just don't want to be as, you know, finicky about it, if you will. So hopefully you understand, but let me know what you kind of think about this. That's all I got for this episode, though. Look forward to the next one, and let me know what you think. So anyways, this is JoePico14 signing out. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.